Right here, I was working on a Toyota Sienna, like a 2016, but this applies to like anything 2011 and up to like 2019, maybe, I think, 2018, around there, with the 3.5 liter engine. And I was doing the tensioner because it was making a creaking noise, and it wasn't the idler. Um, it wasn't that was making the noise. I'll show a video right now what the noise it was making. But there's not really many videos on how to do a tensioner. I mean, and how to do it um, the easy way, I guess, which I'm gonna show. Most of what I saw was people, taking out the alternator, taking the fans out, taking all this out. You don't have to do any of that. The only thing you have to do is unbolt the compressor and move it around. You don't even have to evacuate it or anything. So you're gonna start off with loosening the bolt on the alternator up here. It's a 14. You don't have to take it out. You just have to loosen it so the alternator has some movement from the bottom. All right, that's your 14 mil. And then you're going to take the splash shield from the bottom, which is held on by a bunch of 10 millimeters and a couple clips, which is simple. All right, and then here's the bottom of the compressor. There's two 12 millimeter bolts that hold on a bracket, and then you're going to take those off, and you're going to disconnect all the connectors, and then just move them to the side. And you're going to take off the tensioner, the cover for where the tensioner is at the bottom, and remove the wheel. But then once you got all the connectors out, you're going to want to take out the 12 millimeter here. All right, there's two of them, one on each side, and you're not going to be able to see it. You're just going to have to feel for it, but it's not that bad. But then once you remove those 12, then you got to remove these bolts, which have Torx heads. I guess you call them studs. All right, there's two of them. The top one's for the compressor, and I'm going to show a picture of them right now and what the tool that you have to use. It's an E8 Torx. But yeah, you have to remove the studs, and hopefully they come out easy. And then you can move the compressor all around. You can move it to the back, and you have enough space to get to the bolts. But then you have to remove the alternator bolt too. There's another one at the bottom, which is a 14 millimeter, and also at the back of it has a bracket that's held in by a 12 millimeter, I think. As you can see, I'm trying to show it right there. But remove the bottom 14 millimeter bolt of the alternator, and remove the bolt for the bracket too. I did it from right there, and that gave me enough space to move the alternator. And then, let's see, as you can see, my bolt's already out. I have space for the alternator to move, and you want to do it because it blocks one of the bolts for the tensioner. All right. That bolt right there. And then you could move the compressor, to the back. Like I said, you don't have to disconnect the lines or anything. Just the connections here. I think there's like 5 connections, like 2 or 3 of them for the compressor, one of them for like oil pressure switch, one of them for the oxygen sensor. And then the tensioner is held in by 5 bolts. They're all 14 mil, I believe. And as you can see, I didn't remove anything. Nothing crazy. I think the job takes 4 hours, and it took me maybe 1.5. And that's because also I was taking video and taking pictures. But you can see you have a lot of space to take all this off. Right here, I'm pointing at where the stud goes for the compressor. And you also want to disconnect this crankshaft sensor connector, because it gets in the way, and honestly, you just don't want to mess around with that connector. If your car doesn't start after you did all this, it's probably because you messed something up with the crankshaft position sensor or the connector. And I've done it before where I pulled out the connector and it pulled one of the pins and it didn't want to start. You also want to remove, if you want to, you can remove this bottom bracket that holds the subframe. It's just one bolt, so the subframe won't come down or anything. But it gets in the way, and I didn't remove it just because, I had enough space to get everything, but you can remove it to make it easier on you. And this is the combination of tools I was using, of these nano sockets and one of these Harbor Freight skinny wrenches. And then for the top bolt, I had to use a breaker bar because it's a longer bolt. And I thought it was gonna break, but it didn't. It looks really good actually. This is how you remove it. Just remember the orientation, because you might have to you might find it difficult to remove, or not difficult, but But yeah, as you can see, the fans are still in, the alternator is still in. I didn't remove any coolant, nothing like that. No coolant hoses. Those are your bolts. And then just remember to connect all your connectors back. And like I said, I think there's like 5 of them. And then just reverse order everything else. So if you have any questions, just let me know and I'll try to help you out.